welcome to this special edition of Red Devil Postgame. I'm Vontrell Thomas.
And I'm Brian Scott. We've come to the end of the sports season here at Germantown High, and it's time to take a look back at the great year we've had with our athletics. And Vontrell, what a year it's been.
And Brian, throughout the show, we'll show you game highlights from the past year, give you an inside look at our programs, and we'll discuss what went right and what went wrong this season with three of our head coaches. All that and more coming up in just a few minutes.
But first, let's take a look at how our first football season under Coach Chris Smith panned out. In this Red Devil Rewind. The new coach smell of Chris Smith faded away quickly as the Red Devils had a very inconsistent season. There were big wins against Arlington, SBA, and Houston, but there were also some demoralizing losses against Whitehaven, Cordova, and White Station. The Devils made the playoffs in Smith's first year, but were knocked out in the first round by a last-second field goal in overtime by Nashville Overton. Maybe next year they can keep it up and go farther into the playoffs.
So Brian, what do you think were some of the highlights and some of the downs from this past football season?
Well, this football season was definitely one to remember. You know, we had some great wins early on in the season. You know, I think back to SBA, you know, that grind-out win that we had here at the Red Devil Field. And I think back to the Houston win. You know, that's always a big game for us in our season. Our crosstown rival, Houston, we beat them by 7 points at their place. And so I think that was a great win. You know, we had a really up-and-down season. You know, we had some great wins, but we got shut out twice. And we got beat really badly by some really good teams. So, you know, we had a great season. We made it to the playoffs. I think it was, you know, the fact that we made it to the playoffs under his first season, you know, I think that was a big, big step in the right direction.
It was pretty spectacular that they came together so well, which you mentioned that they got the playoffs with such a new coaching system. So it's pretty impressive that happened. So it's nothing to look down on, even though there were some bad losses, but it was pretty impressive.
It definitely was impressive. It was a great year under Coach Chris Smith. And in fact, we'll talk to him right after this package. In February, high school football players across the country took the next step in their careers by signing their letter of intent, including 5 seniors at Germantown High School. But videographer Nia Foster and I found out the athletes' decisions weren't just about what they could do on the field. It was also about their opportunities off the field.
Return is by Really, I've been working my whole life for this day.
On a day marked on the calendars of every high school student athlete, 5 Germantown High School Red Devils took the next step to realizing their athletic and academic dreams by signing their letter of intent on National Signing Day.
National Signing Day is a day where it's a great reward for those 1% of those athletes who excel in the classroom, who are teachable, who are coachable. These are guys who are going to get a chance to further their education and at the same time get a chance to play football, and it's going to be a great opportunity for that 1% that does everything that they're supposed to do.
National Signing Day isn't just another day for these Red Devils. This is a day years in the making.
It signifies a lot of time and hard work put in, and now I see that it's finally paying off.
Even though these athletes are some of the best in the Mid-South, they are even better students.
You also have to work hard in the classroom just as much as you work in the weight room on the field.
They're talking about their athletic side today, but a lot of these guys have over 3-point GPAs, got over 20-somethings on the ACT.
Football is so hard, and to excel on the field and in the classroom is quite challenging.
While our former Red Devils are fulfilling a goal of playing at the next level, they're also receiving a higher education that might not have otherwise been possible.
To me, that's one of the reasons why I want to get back into this, to help people achieve their goals on and off the field.
It's going to afford him an education, more opportunities to play what he's passionate about, and that's football.
To me, nothing's more rewarding than being a coach and helping others and serving others to help achieve that goal or dream.
We look forward to seeing these Red Devils making highlights on the field and in the classroom. Reporting for WMC Action News 5, News 101, I'm Brian Scott.
Joining us now on set is the head coach of the Red Devil varsity football team, Chris Smith. So last year was your first season as the head coach replacing legend Charlie White. Can you tell us about your first season at the helm?
First season, as you said, was up and down. It was a great learning curve, great learning experience for everybody involved in the program, players, coaches, community. I've been fortunate to build some very good relationships already in this first season. As you mentioned, throughout the year, it's stabilizing as we go forward in the program this spring. We had 22 injuries by week 6. As y'all mentioned, some of the inconsistencies had 22 injuries by week 6 to players who played significant time. With that, 32 total for the season. So the injury bug got us a little bit. But, what was really impressive about it is those guys came together and went undefeated against municipalities and went 4-3 in the region. And as you mentioned, the schedule was tough. Really tough. Moving into 6A this first year was probably the toughest thing to overcome. We played 4 teams in 6A football who are ranked in the top 5 in the entire state of 6A. And we were fortunate to beat one of them. And there at the end, finished up pretty strong, so we're pretty satisfied with that.
It was definitely a great year. There was a ton of hype, coming into that year. A brand new coach, brand new offensive system. There's a ton of hype, and then when you come in, you play Lausanne, and that's always a tough game. A little bit of a deflating loss there, and then an up and down season after that. How was it like keeping the players' morale up, through that up and down season?
Well, we stuck to our program, stuck to our systems. We kept hammering the philosophy in, and after watching the spring, it's really starting to set in with some of those players, and we're really excited. I mean, it's fun to coach this team right now. They came together through a time when a lot of people could have folded up and shut it down. But you know what? They came back, they battled, they beat all the municipalities. 4-3 in that tough region for the first year in 6A football was good to see. And the schedule was different, and like I said, it was 6A competition, and with that, we feel like we're progressing in the right direction, headed the right direction, and it's been fun to really coach these guys this spring and see the system start to really set in and take place. It takes time to adjust to new systems. It takes time. It was an adjustment for everybody. Lots of changes, but we're starting to reap the benefits of some of those changes right now.
Definitely.
All right, we touched on it a little bit, but how did playing one of the hardest district schedules this year help improve the team?
Oh, I think, you want to play the best competition all the time. We like to play the best teams. You don't get the best out of yourself or anybody else in life. You got to play the best. Every day in practice we try to simulate the most challenging drills, the most challenging scrimmages, the most challenging, practices that we can give those guys, challenging weight room workouts. We want to challenge them every day, and I don't know why anybody would want to play less than the best out there. Definitely.
We lost a few seniors last year. But we've got a lot of talent coming back. Who should we keep our eye out for, next fall?
Miles Guyton's come on really strong in the offseason. He came in there around that week 6-7 time period right there, and against Arlington, he had over 500 yards.
Wow.
And, Arlington beat Whitehaven earlier in the football season. He came out, and that's when they started to really grasp the system that we thought. They started to grasp the system. We're looking forward to big things from him. He's getting a lot of college attention. Trey Goins is another player who's gotten a lot of college attention. He's had a Division I offer from University of Texas, San Antonio. Wow. So far this spring, the last 2 weeks, we've had over 67 universities come through and look at our guys. Miles Guyton, Trey Goins. Cameron Tawari had an awesome spring, made some big plays. He's adjusted to going out to playing receiver to running back. We've had Cameron Walker carried the ball really well, and Terrius Branch has looked good. There's a bunch more I can name. I just don't want to sit here and name them all right now, but it's been exciting.
All right, well, we've got to wrap this up, but before you go, is there anything you want to say to the fans at home?
To the fans at home, they've been great at supporting us. Like the spring game we just had, we adjusted on the fly, and we had a full-packed stadium over there on the home side. It was great to see. Keep supporting us. Be patient, stabilizing out. We got a new staff in. It's been awesome so far. The players, you'll see a change in their attitude, their mentality. Also physically, they're much faster and stronger, and that's a credit to them and their offseason they put in this year. So we're expecting to see a good brand of football this year.
Well, I know I can speak for Von Trell and I, and everyone here at Germantown High School. I am so excited and so glad you joined our program here. I can't wait to see where it goes, the next year, 2 years, 3 years after that. So thank you for joining us today, Coach Smith.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here.
Now we've got to go take a short break. When we return, we'll talk some basketball to you, so stick around.
Welcome to Germantown High School, an international baccalaureate creative and performing arts optional school, a destination school for students who are going places.
Our students are of the highest caliber when it comes to their academics and knowledge.
The IB program is a very rigorous program.
You were challenged in a way that you thought you couldn't be challenged. You succeeded, something that other kids may not have thought they could do.
They're accepted to colleges that are just, dream colleges for so many people.
Germantown High School offers a CAPA program, the Creative and Performing Arts program.
When I first came here, I saw the television studio and I was just amazed at what all I saw.
Kids do everything, that they're taught every detail that has to do with theater arts and creative arts.
I love a lot of things about Germantown High School, but primarily what I love is the athletics. There's something exciting around every single corner.
We probably are one of the most diverse high schools in the state of Tennessee, maybe the United States.
I would never doubt about sending your child to Germantown High School.
This high school is something not like any other high school that we have.
There's definitely fun in the work. We find fun in everything we do.
Welcome back to this edition of Red Devil Postgame. I'm Brian Scott, joined by Vontrell Thomas. Now, we just got done talking about last year's football season, but Vontrell, what made our basketball year so special?
I think it comes from a special group of guys. These guys have been playing together since their freshman year, with the exceptions of Michael Bamrick and Kevin Cheatham. But anyways, they fit into that chemistry so well. Everybody knew their role, and most of all, they had the same mindset. They wanted to go to playoffs, they wanted that state championship, and they were hungry for it. And also, you've got to get credit to Coach James. He came in, he got these boys on the right mindset, working hard, so they had a spectacular season as a result.
It was a great year under the first year of Coach James, and in fact, we'll talk to him in a few minutes after this next package. In a surprise to all at Germantown, last year's coach Marvin Davis left his Devils for Lausanne, leaving a vacancy at the head coaching position. The Red Devils found their guy in Coach Jason James. In one of the most exciting seasons of basketball in Germantown history, a team led by the senior class ran through every single team they faced. While being ranked in the top 3 teams in the state and the top 100 teams in the nation, the Red Devils started their season off with an unprecedented 20-plus wins without a loss, only to end their season off in the playoffs with a loss to eventual champion East High School.
Coach Jason James, head devil of the Germantown varsity basketball team, joins us now. Welcome to the postgame set. We're excited to have you here today.
Appreciate you guys having me.
All right, so this past year we had a bit of drama before the season started. You know, Coach Davis left to go coach at the program at Lausanne, but you stepped in and you helped corral these boys and had one of the most successful seasons as a first-year coach. Was it what you expected, or was this a bit of a surprise to you?
I knew we'd be good. We had a lot of guys coming back from last year's team, so in this game, especially in high school, experience wins, and I knew we had guards who had played before, and so I kind of thought we could be pretty good. How good, I wasn't really sure until I got into the situation. So we were very fortunate. We give the guys a lot of credit, man. They showed up every day, and they allowed us to coach them, which I think is very important.
Definitely. You guys started off the season with a very impressive record to start the year off. What was your secret to the success?
No secret. Just try to focus on every day. Try to get better every day, and don't get complacent. Don't be satisfied. Again, these guys had kind of been through the wars a little bit, and they knew what high school basketball was about, and so I didn't have to do too much. Just try to keep them focused and keep them on the same page.
Definitely.
All right, so this past season, the team was really led by a massive group of seniors who really shouldered the load most of the time. What mark did this class leave on the Germantown basketball team?
A huge mark. It kind of set the bar moving forward. One of the most successful seasons in the history of the school. Everything that those guys got in terms of accolades, they earned them. And that's kind of the culture we wanted to set moving forward. We wanted to kind of set that bar really high, and so hopefully these young guys coming up can fight to reach that bar every single day. But these guys did a heck of a job, man. Again, I can't give them enough credit because it was a tough situation. My first day here was the first day of practice, and again, they allowed us to coach them, and they worked really hard every day.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of legacy do you think they're going to leave? You know, we've got a bunch of sophomores and juniors coming up. that are going to be juniors and seniors next year that are going to really lead this team. So what kind of legacy do you think they're going to leave?
That's a good question. No, when you talk about legacy and tradition, the first thing you go to is wins. And they've obviously won a bunch of games in their 4 years here. But I think, to me, the legacy is left is in terms of championships, winning the city championship, winning the Christmas tournament over in Centralia, winning the Thanksgiving tournament right outside Nashville. Those are the things that guys kind of remember and hang on to. And moving forward, those young guys will strive to win those same championships and more championships in the years to come.
Exactly.
And so with all these seniors leaving, this is basically a brand new team for next season. Do you plan to operate the team the same way, or is there might be a change?
We'll do the same things. It's huge for us to set the right culture. You know, they say culture is like a tree. It takes 10 years to build it, but only 10 minutes to cut it down. And so we'll continue to try to set the culture the way we want it. We won't change much. Obviously, the players are different, and some of the mindsets need to be changed to be different. But for the most part, we'll run the program the same way and just try to get better every day.
You know, last year was a great year, but let's take a look forward to next year. You know, when we come to February, there's one thing on everybody's minds, and that's going back to the state playoffs. How are you guys working right now, and how will you guys work till December to get back to there?
We'll get in the weight room a bunch. Guys got to get bigger. They got to get stronger. We'll get in the gym in the summers and shoot a bunch of shots and learn to be a team. I think in the summers we're kind of, as an individual, you learn to get better, and then in the fall you learn to be a team, and hopefully you're playing your best basketball around January, February, and that's the goal. And that's, again, we'll try to work at that every day.
All right, well, just for a minute, who are some players we can look forward to seeing next year?
Man, I wish I knew that. You know, all those guys are so young. It'd be hard to give you a couple names now. I can say that our style of play won't change, and we'll continue to work hard and continue to try to guard people, and you know, that'll be what our program will be about.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Coach James, and we look forward to seeing what you can do in your next year and what you can do after that. And we look forward to going back to the state playoffs.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We've got to take another break, but stick around to see how our Germantown boys soccer team fared in this year's playoffs.
I can't believe we broke Old Man Hennessy's window.
Correction, dude. You broke. I just threw the ball.
This is really bad. What are we gonna do? Dude, kiss your life goodbye.
See ya.
Sorry, kid.
Keep smiling, keep shining.
Hi. Tell him it was an accident, and we can fix the window. I'll come with you.
Oh, that's what friends are for.
Welcome back to this Red Devil post-game year in review. So far, we've covered football and basketball, but now it's time to cover Germantown's fastest growing sport, soccer. We've got analysis of their last game coming up later on in the show. But first, we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes look at what goes on in the coach's mind during the game with a soccer edition of Mic'd Up with Coach Bartel.
Yo, gotta win. Hey, we don't even have a challenge here, Red. One of the things I really told the guys is to remember this, because last year we beat them on this field in this very same game, and you could tell that for 365 days they'd been thinking about it. Hey, let's go! Head up, Red! So one of the things I really told my guys is we had to try and get the ball at our feet more. I thought we played a lot of long balls. I really wanted more guys to be checking into the space in the middle of the field to try and draw some defenders to be able to lay it off and create space for what they call the third man running on the opposite side. So tried to do it a little bit, had some success in the times that we did it, but just didn't do it enough. Okay.
Coach Bartels and the boys left it all out on the field last week against Collierville. We were at the game covering their tragic defeat against the Dragons. It was a tragic loss for the boys, Brian. What did you see out there last night?
Well, it was a tough loss. You know, it definitely was. And I think a lot of that has to go to Collierville's motive. You know, you think back a year ago at this time, Germantown beat Collierville at Collierville to knock them out of the playoffs. So it was a little bit of a revenge game for them. So they had a motive, and that really kicked into a different motor for them. They were playing at a different level the whole game. You know, always controlling the ball You know, they had the ball so much, and it's hard to win the game when you don't have possession. And so, you know, they had the different motive, and you couple that with we were a mistake-riddled team. You know, when you make mistakes, you're not going to win the games. So it's definitely a perfect storm for Collierville to win the game. But we'll have coverage of the game coming up with our next highlights. Even though the game didn't end the way we wanted it to, our guys lit up the pitch for an amazing highlight reel. Videographers Andreas Williams, Kennedy Harris, and I were there covering the action. The Germantown Red Devil varsity soccer team took on the Collierville Dragons at Collierville for a chance to move on in the district playoffs. The first chance of the game went to Germantown, as some nice build-up play by the Devils left the ball at Eric Izaguirre's feet, but his shot went wide, leaving it scoreless in the 4th minute. Collierville struck right back with an attack of their own, as Sean Baker hit it off the volley right at Nico Rokas, who made the comfortable save. Keeping it full throttle with the pace, Devils Sean Williams lobbed it up front for Cody Hardy, but he couldn't control it, leaving the Collierville goalie to clear it away. Germantown got the next shot on target, with Malik Saleh's shot blocked by the Dragon defense. The first goal of the game came in the 20th minute, as Chris Bruckner swung in a free kick and the Dragons finally punched one in past Rokas. Collierville kept it coming as a swift counterattack forced Nico Rokas to make a great diving save. The Dragons piled it on after a few good passes in the box, let Jackson Bentley side foot the ball on the back of the net, 2-0. With the clock nearing the 45th minute mark, Cody Hardy took the ball in midfield and soared a shot, aiming for the upper 90. The Dragon goalie made the tall save and kept Collierville's lead strong, going into the half 1-0. Collierville recorded the first shot on goal in the second half with a free kick 30 yards out, just barely missing the top left frame. The Devils came right back as build-up play put the ball at Abibakita's feet, but he disappointingly put a dribbler into the keeper's hands. Another set piece, another missed opportunity as the Devils swung a ball into the box from midfield, only to be denied by the keeper once again. The Dragons kept Rokas busy as a lob from midfield made its way into the Germantown box, forcing Rokas to make another great save. A through ball from the Devils gave Eric Izaguirre the golden opportunity to make it a game, but he just couldn't keep it down and skied another shot in the box. Collierville put it away early, with Collierville's Jared Burns and Justin Matroni pairing up for a third goal of the night, 3-0. After a few more body blows by both sides, Germantown finally relented and were denied a chance to go deeper into the playoffs, 3-0. Coach Clay Davis of Germantown High School Soccer is with us now on set. Thank you for joining us today, Coach Davis. Sure. So this year we get back to the playoffs, but we end up getting knocked out in the first round by Collierville. What are some takeaways from that game this past year, just from the soccer team?
Well, I think in that game specifically, we had beat them last year, and we just got to come out ready every game from the beginning. They got a goal early on us, and in soccer that's tough to recover from. So that was a big key in that game.
Definitely.
All right, so this last soccer season, the starting 11 was just about filled up by seniors. How will that class of seniors be missed?
Well, we'll miss them a lot. We actually had 16 seniors. I think it's the largest senior class we've ever had. Actually, I think like 4 of those were starters, but they've helped build this program and kind of led those younger guys. And I think going forward, we'll move in a good direction because we have some good returning sophomores and juniors. So I think we'll still be strong going forward.
What kind of footprint did these seniors leave? You know, I'm sure they were great mentors to this young class that's coming up in the ranks.
Well, I think that, I mean, the biggest thing is just wins and losses. I mean, because this program, I think, has struggled for a while, and Coach Bartels came in last year, and I've started helping him since then. And last year, I think we were 6-10. This year, we had 60 kids on the team. We had a freshman JV and varsity, and our varsity team had 10 wins. So I think those seniors have just give us a winning tradition, or help us start a winning tradition here.
Definitely.
While soccer isn't as popular as football or basketball, here at Germantown, it has as much hype surrounding it as it does all the other sports that we have. What makes soccer so special here at Germantown?
Well, I think one thing that's really neat about it is we have kids that come from such diverse backgrounds, and they all come together as one for that one common goal. And so I think that's a neat thing. I think just overall soccer is becoming more popular across the board. More people are interested in it. Like I said, we had 60 kids come out for soccer this year, by far more than we've had in past years.
Wow, definitely. And you know, a lot of those 60 kids are a lot of underclassmen, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores.
Right.
How are they developing? You know, I know we've got a lot of great talent there. You said 10 wins. How are they developing, and where do you see them going on in the future?
Well, we have our sophomore class is probably our strongest. We have a couple of strong juniors, but our sophomore class is probably 8 guys that are varsity ready to play right now. And with the freshmen, it's the first year we've ever had a freshman team, so we kept a lot of guys that didn't have a lot of experience, but had some potential. So I think they'll keep growing with the JV team next year.
Definitely.
Speaking of those underclassmen, we've talked with them and a lot of fans who are really proud of this team, and they all want the same common goal, which is simply put a state championship. What are you guys doing now that'll help translate that next year?
Well, I think it is just what Coach Bartels has done is just trying to create a tradition of winning, where he's putting in a system where we're starting with keeping, like I said, a freshman team, a full JV team in varsity. So I think it's coming. You know, that our district is a tough district. If we got by that Collierville game, we have a decent chance of going to state. So we'll keep working at it and be ready next year.
And so how are you guys working in the off season? You know, I know you guys have a club schedule as well.
Yeah, right. Coach Bartels works with Germantown Legends club team, and some of the guys work with that, and also a lot of the guys are on other club teams around. There's several club teams around, so most of them are involved in clubs in the summer and fall, and then in January we'll get back in with conditioning those first couple of months leading into March.
And how does that, you know, contribute to the great team chemistry that you guys have at Germantown Soccer?
Well, I think when those kids are playing year-round, I mean, that's only good. And a lot of those guys do play together. Like several of them are on the same club team. So some of those guys are playing consistently with each other year-round. So it only benefits us.
Wow.
All right, well, Coach Davis, thank you so much for being on set today. And we're looking forward to another playoff run next year.
Thanks.
Well, that wraps up this special edition of Red Devil Postgame. We'd like to thank all of our guests today for talking to us about the great things happening in our athletic program. If you'd like more information on our athletics here at Germantown, visit the program online at goghsreddevils.com. And if you'd like more information on this show or any other program here at GHS-TV, visit our website at ghstv.org or follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GHS-TV. Signing off for Brian Scott, I'm Vontrell Thomas. Go Red Devils.